Okay. Not sure what I'm supposed to do here. I think the truck just chases you. um, I have a lot of notes about. I've been listening to the Bible. I tried last year. I tried to listen to some books on my way home from work, and I got through like 4. I read a book about Homo sapiens, like the history of Homo sapiens, and I read this math book called How to Not Be Wrong or something like that. And I read this book. The author was like an economist. It was about how your brain works. There's like 2 systems. System 1 is, let's take a hint. System 1 is like your automatic brain, and system 2 is like, if you ask somebody what's 15 times 35, they have to stop and think. Ouch. And that's their system 2 brain. Okay. Was there any way to get around that guy?
Some kind of military trick.
I'm gonna throw a thing in him. Can I pick them up? I just keep rolling. Ouch. Hopefully I can pick it up. Okay. So I wrote not a lot of notes about the Bible. I feel kind of weird talking about them, but oh. One thing the Bible talks a lot about is, I noticed they keep mentioning, like, if you're a Christian, you walk on the narrow path, and while most of the world walks on the wide path. Am I getting hit? But, that hasn't really been my experience. It feels like most people are good, and they're like me, they're just trying to do their best. And there are like a few people who just don't care. Or they don't, I don't know, they don't care about other people or how they affect other people. It seems like I've almost never met anybody like that. I haven't met a lot of people, but most of the people I met are, even if they're not Christians, they're still just trying their best to be good people. I like how the New Testament is kind of Jesus coming and being like, all the teachers of the law are like, you're confusing, or you're making this too confusing. Like, there's 2 commandments: love God and love your neighbor. Like, if somehow all these rules you've created are above those two commandments, then you're not fulfilling the law or whatever. Yeah, the one thing that's like a bummer about the New Testament is like this Jesus guy's awesome and you want to hear everything about him, but there's like 10 stories about him, and they like the Gospels, they like repeat the same stories. It's like I want to hear, why isn't there somebody like following this guy around, writing down everything he says? I want to know everything about him. He's like, but the Gospels are so short. Run, run, run. Oh, ow. That was not good. Oh. I'm doing awful. And then, so after the Gospels, there's Acts, which is kind of a weird book. And then there's the letters to the churches from Paul. And those are interesting to read. Paul is like, he makes like a lot of I don't know, there's one book, I think it's like Corinthians or something. He makes a lot of arguments, or it's just a lot of theology about like what it means that Jesus came back and died, and it's kind of hard to follow. It's like Jesus died, but he lives and he's in us, so we died and now we live, and a lot of stuff like that that's confusing. And I don't know how, am I supposed to go through there? I feel like it. Oh. I lost track of time. I think it's 5 more minutes.
Ain't going this way.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff doesn't really get through to me. I guess it's important, but to me it doesn't seem that important. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of Christians now, they act kind of like Pharisees, where they treat the New Testament like a rule book, and they create all these rules, like you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. But if Jesus came back now, he'd be like, you're getting so much of this wrong. Just like I said last time, love each other and love God. That's all you have to really worry about.
We're okay.
The Bible isn't a rule book. Cutscene. Oh, I like this story.
Leave him alone.
Easy, son. Just take it easy.
It's all right. They're not the bad guys. Lower the gun. Man, you hit hard.
Yeah, well, I was trying to kill you.
Yeah, I thought you were one of them too. Then I saw you. If you haven't noticed, they don't keep kids around. Survival of the fittest.
You're bleeding.
It's just nothing. I'm Henry. Sam. I think I caught your name was Joel.
Ellie.
How many are with you?
They're all dead.
We don't know that. There were a bunch of us. Someone had the brilliant idea of entering the city, look for supplies. Those fuckers, they ambushed us, scattered us. Now it's all about getting out of this shithole.
We can help each other.
Ellie.
Safety in numbers and all that.
She's right. Could help each other. We got a hideout not too far from here. Be safer if we chat there.
Right, take us there.
Follow me.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite
Sorry about the
little story they do.
I would have probably done the same thing.
It might be a little too obvious, like what they're doing, like they're paralleling Joel and Ellie with this guy and his brother. But I like when stories do that, because otherwise some of the stuff goes over my head. Like, they kind of do need to be a little obvious about it, at least for me, because I'm stupid. Well, like, all the characters Joel meets are like people he could be, and like they end up, some change him and some don't, and I don't know. I just like all the little stories they do. I think that's 15 minutes. Never really looked too close at these details, but they really put a lot of detail in this house. Pictures in the books. All these books sound terrible. Okay. I think that's 4. Right?